All right, traders, I watch this video for New Year's Eve, Monday, December 31st. It is a full day. I suspect kind of low volume because the market's closed Tuesday. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. So just showing you the SPY. Big sell-off, and then we had basically a 2-day bounce, sort of a 3-day bounce. If these were 5-minute candles on an intraday stock, we'd see this push down. We'd see the climb up a little bit lower volume, and then this kind of reversal candle right at the in the what we would call the sell zone. I'd actually be leaning short at this point, right? So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean the market's going to sell off from here, but I am saying it did come up and kind of test an interesting area, the 250 area, and closed red. So just keep that in mind. Again, we'll just in chat look for some low risk intraday setups on this list I'm getting ready to put out, or the morning gap playlist as well. All right, so here we go. UXIN. There's nothing really pretty here other than this thing ripped from like under $3 to almost 10 over the course of what, like 2 weeks, and now you've got 3 big down days. We don't quite have a complete retracement. So it's not like in an interesting area. I mean, you could argue maybe it is because it held this $5 area back here, here, and now it's gotten there in a hurry. You kind of had a reversal intraday to get you back above 5. So I do want to watch this for a potential bounce play. As you guys know, I prefer kind of a narrow, somewhat narrow range on the day and then an afternoon breakout. That's my favorite setup when I'm looking for a potential bounce play. So we'll see what UXIN does. Generally, a bounce play isn't going to give me any kind of long setup in the opening hour or two, right? So keep that in mind. Unless we get a gap down bounce play setup. All right, anyway, we're going to watch that one. MRIN, basically the strongest stock in the whole wide world about a week ago. Ran all the way up to 12 and now is what, 4 days in a row down? Yeah, down into what we call the buy zone between the 8 and the 20-day moving average. So this one's certainly interesting for a potential bounce on Monday. AWSM, very high relative volume, closing well off of its highs though on Friday. I did get one nice trade in this one. Hopefully you got it with me in chat. Closing well off its highs, but still the relative volume makes this absolute, and the fact that it ripped back here makes this absolutely worth watching on Monday. VT, some nice calls in this one in chat on Friday if you weren't there. I got a great pullback play in the buy zone. I literally got filled like 7 cents from the low here, right there, and then it went back through the high of day. I think that was my best trade on Friday. But anyway, closing kind of weak, but still massive relative volume, 40 million shares traded hands, so has to be on watch on Monday. ADIL, very strong stock recently. A couple days lower after the huge move. Again, I'd like to see these get down to the buy zone before I start looking for a bounce. But it's so strong lately that I'm going to watch it. And keep in mind, this was strong when the market was actually pretty weak too. So something to think about. TLRY. I wanted to have one pot stock on watch. It's not a beautiful chart or anything, but the pot stock did get moving on Friday, and I'm showing you 15-minute candles here. So TLRY had all that news back here. Really thought it was going to rip through the $80 area and squeeze to 100, and it just kept getting knocked down. But now it's really put in a nice support area here, right around the $70 area, and it's starting to creep up out of that area. And with the recent news back here, this one might be one to watch. So again, I don't look at the daily and lick my chops like, hey, this is beautiful, but we are kind of turning up out of support, and it had some really nice news back in this area. So I kind of like the chart setup here. If the pot stocks get moving, I'll certainly look to TLRY for a setup. And then I was on the fence about putting this one on the list just because 1.6 million is a big volume day for this stock. But I look back here and thought, you know what, this had a big day here and just continued higher for like a week straight. Now it's put in a higher low, big relative volume for the stock. So, and its range was 868 to 964. So I think it's worth watching. I kind of suspect, I don't know that I've ever traded this one. I kind of suspect that it's going to be spready just because of the price and volume that I'm looking at here. So anyway, Don't forget, tomorrow is a day sandwiched between a weekend and a holiday where the market's going to be closed on Tuesday. So I expect low volume, but sometimes on days like that, the low floaters can really get moving. So I do think it's worth hanging out if you're not busy and trading with us tomorrow. All right. I'm done babbling. We'll see everybody on Monday.